There you go. Hey, how y'all doing? Did you have a chance to look at it?
I'm not got to do that. Tomorrow.
Checked it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got it tomorrow.
I checked it. Oh, that's right, just sign that. I want to. I'm going to contribute. I put something in there, I got, yeah, I do. Yeah,
I'm not just.
yeah, I got 20 cash. And I put it, and I said, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm having a hard time. Yeah, why?
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it.
I was upset, but I was upset when I stuff happened. That was wrong, but I was already very, it is.
Well, if they change the voice of maybe they change that.
For some of them, some of that.
That's what she said.
Mhm. It's like, you want to shoot your own, which is not right, because you make it fair, and she ain't paying fair. But I mean, just. You don't send me something before?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna get it right now.
What you think of we can't keep nobody.
I'm right about, if you don't agree with that.
That's what scares me most of all.
They could come back
I hope not,
and make us lose that last game. Was it like a district game?
but there wouldn't be no penalty on it. It would be like a
Could
price or
be.
something.
Years ago. When I played football, before independence started, the fight down there. And the whole stands up, everybody.
Everybody's going.
They made independence. They could play the next year, but they can't, nothing can. And then, when I was playing,
Before you run out of here
Jamie Lloyd had a staff.
and let you read it.
The meeting room will come to order. We're now holding a special board meeting for the St. Helena Parish School Board. Oh. My bad. Let's do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I do apologize. Now the meeting will come to order. We're now holding a special meeting for the St. Helena Parish School Board. Roll call.
Ms. George Porter. Present. Ms. Rolita Porter. Present. Ms. Linda Cheney.
Present.
Mr. George Hughes.
Present.
Ms. Virginia Bell. Present. Mr. Alton Travis.
Present.
All members are present.
New business. Receive and approve insurance coverage quotes for general liability, automobile liability, and physical damage, school leaders' errors and omissions, and law enforcement liability.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get.
I want to thank you for giving me a special meeting for this. It's paid off in dividends. The numbers I received on Monday are much better than the numbers I was prepared to bring down here Thursday. So that's why I asked for an extension on the meeting, just so we can kind of get some other finalization. Little history lesson for you, backing up. We were with Larma for 10 years. That partnership has ended. We found out in September they were non-renewing us. So they gave us an extension from October 1 to December 1. We immediately went to market, and I'm going to do this a little backwards. If you look at the last page on the proposal, this is my marketing appetite. And I'll go ahead and pull the Band-Aid off. Last year, your expiring premium last year with Larma for your automobile, your liability, and your educator's professional was around $133,000. The number I have tonight is $206,000, but there are options. So that's the ceiling. But I want to show you what the market is doing. And the biggest issue is the commercial automobile. Larma's commercial automobile was extremely aggressive. That's why we stayed with them for so long. So everybody in red has declined us. And that's either by appetite, underwriting appetite, or claims, something they just didn't like what we're doing, or our location. Some people were offering coverages in North Louisiana instead of South. I had a market. He said, we do public entities, but nothing south of Alexandria. So that kind of limits us what we do. There's the ones in white. I haven't even received a response yet, and they've had these applications since September. The ones in blue are the ones I've either received an indication from, or I got a verbal indication or a phone call. And as you can see, those are my business automobile. Just kind of give you an idea what the markets are looking like. The Berkshire Hathaway, the National Indemnity, and the Prime Insurance. They're about $25,000 to $33,000 a unit. You paid $2,200 a unit with Larma. The quotes I have from Houston Specialty was my commercial automobile quote that I thought we were going to end up going with. They were coming in at $9,500 a unit. I have a general liability offer from Kinsale that was $29,000. They excluded everything under the sun. It'd be easier to tell you what they covered instead of what they excluded. So I was having to go out and get other coverages to pick up those exclusions. We were going to fill in the gaps with some Lloyd Syndicate offers and Indian Harbor. Liberty Mutual eventually came in and said, yes, we can offer a quote. And they are public entity. They have a public entity division. They do school districts. But due to our claim history, they wanted to give us a $100,000 deductible for every line of business. Right now, you have a $25,000 deductible. I told them, I said, why am I doing that? You know, I'm going to have to go out and find something else. The Kinsale offer was going to give us I think a $25,000 deductible, but all the exclusions that apply anyway. So that really isn't comparable. I said, do your research on St. Helena. And I sent a map of St. Helena, and I did an aerial view of each school. So here it is. The biggest town is Greensburg, population 762 by the last census. It's 400 square miles of 10,000 people. Came back to me about a week later and says, you're right. He said, if you were in Orleans Parish, or if you were in Baton Rouge or Shreveport, I'd probably have to come in at $17,000 a unit for the buses. He came in at about $5,600 a unit because of our location in the state. So our rural area is paying off on it. People, he's working with us. I said, what about the deductible? He said, I will go $50,000 for the first year, and let's see how the claims look. And if the claims are, you know, if we have a good, and we're not talking about one big claim, it's frequency of smaller claims. If we don't have a frequency issue, we'll go down to $25,000 at renewal. That's Liberty Mutual. And that's who I'm prepared to offer tonight. So that's in Liberty Mutual. If you put the coverages side by side with Larma, they're almost identical. Actually, Liberty has a couple of bonus coverages in there that spells out that we needed. They actually have a violent reaction coverage, similar to what we had with the school shooting a couple of years ago. So they have some coverage built in for that. So I want to tell you how we got here, but let's go back to the page 2. That's your general liability. It's giving us everything we had with Larma. We have $1 million occurrence with a $3 million aggregate. We have employee benefits liability. We have sexual misconduct liability. And the violent event response is a $500,000 aggregate, $500,000 occurrence. Each person limit of $25,000 and a death benefit of $15,000. You didn't have that spelled out in your Larma. Larma's defending that claim we had, but this spells out we have coverage and we know what the coverage is right here. In Larma, it's not specifically excluded, so it was covered. That explains why they're giving you defense. We have corporal punishment. We have the limited pollution coverage, which is hard to get for schools. And Larma included that. Everybody else was excluding it. And that's for your maintenance crew. You know, and I've seen it before where a school will do something to their football field if they have a natural grass field and it rains and it runs off and gets into a ditch. And next thing you know, you got a fish kill at a local creek or something like that. And they're all coming back to the school district. You have a limited coverage for for stuff, you can't go out and do under the counter. It's got to be over the counter Roundup. But you have that coverage in there, and that's important because you do have a maintenance exposure. We had the public entity immunity and tort cap preservation endorsement. That's for Louisiana specific. We have an immunity cap in Louisiana. We have a tort cap, or but there are loopholes to that, especially if you get something federal. General liability, you really don't have that issue. It's more in the school leaders professional. You have that issue. Cyber incident or the major exclusions, we have a cyber liability policy that covers that. Firearms, total firearms exclusion, I'll go over that in more detail in a little bit. We have a law enforcement professional liability exclusion. I'll go into that in a little bit. Trampolines, we've had that before. Disclosure material, that's pretty much basis and everything. Discrimination, we're going to pick that up somewhere else. Employment related practices, we're picking that up somewhere else. And your fungi or bacteria, that's also basically your COVID endorsement. So that's the premium for what Liberty is right now. And that's actually about half of what Larma charged you last year. So they're a little bit more aggressive on the liability. I know I'm throwing a lot at you and I can get into the weeds, but if you have questions, please let me know. I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. All right. For automobile liability, we have $1 million limit for every vehicle we have. They are offering us a $1 million uninsured motorist limit. We'll get into that in just a minute. The deductibles for any bus under $50,000, we have a comprehensive and collision deductible of $5,000. For every bus valued over $50,000, it's $10,000. They're going to give us actual cash value or cost of repair determined by age. And that determined by age is 6 years. And so if we have a bus that's 6 years or younger, they're going to give us cost of repair or replacement costs. Anything older than that's going to be actual cash value. That's big. You didn't even have that with Larma. It was actual cash value across the board. We have hired auto liability at $1 million. There was a question about maybe transporting fans to a playoff game or something like that. Well, if you guys have to, if the school district has to go out and rent a charter bus, you can pick up this coverage for the charter bus. It's a higher automobile exposure, and you actually have some physical damage coverage on the bus too. So you're not, without coverage on it, and you're going to need that for the contract. So that's built into the policy, and that deductible is actually only $2,500 compared to what your $5,000 or $10,000 deductible is for your own buses. We had the public entity immunity and tort endorsement on here. We had the school bus auto extension. It's just a broadening of the policy form. We have our normal exclusions. So your premium here is $147,944. But let's talk about the uninsured motorist. They're offering us $1 million. In the past with Larma, they only gave us a limit of 20/40, 20 per bodily injury, 40 per accident per person. You have a $50,000 deductible now. So your deductible is larger than what your Larma uninsured motorist is. As a public entity, what is the uninsured motorist covering? Your employer, your employees, your drivers are covered by workers' compensation. Any teacher who's on the bus with them or any employee is covered by workers' compensation. The students are your exposure for uninsured motorists. But that only triggers if someone hits you that's uninsured or underinsured. They're liable. They shouldn't be coming after you on this. So if you don't have the coverage there and you have a $50,000 deductible, it's going to limit your lawsuits too. Because they know you're not going to settle, you have to go, they're going to have to sue you. So if we remove the uninsured motorist coverage, and you're my last school district that still carries it. Every other school district I have has removed it. It'll save you another $20,000. That's a huge savings this year. That's something to consider. We'll go back to it later on. I just wanted to throw that out there. We'll address that in a minute. Your school leaders professional, that's good to go. Your retroactive date, I got that highlighted. It's going to pick up any prior acts that were not reported to us back to April 15th, 2015. So if something occurred then, but the claim was made today, Liberty's going to pick that claim up. If I couldn't have gotten that date, because that's when your first day was with Larma, it would go from here forward. So if something happened and a claim occurred here, but we didn't have a tail from the other company, we wouldn't be out of coverage. Liberty's going to pick up that exposure for us. Here's your premium. It's $600 difference from what you had from last year. One other thing they have on here, they have a sublimit, this 100,000 non-monetary relief defense coverage. You did not have that with LARMA. If you get a non-monetary settlement, this $100,000 can help you. If you get a discrimination claim against you or a practices claim against you, and you need to change a procedure, and it's going to cost you money to help change this procedure so you don't have this kind of claim, this is where that $100,000 comes into play. It's to make sure you don't have a repeated claim. All right, next page is the law enforcement liability. We had to go out and get our own coverage, our own separate policy on this because LARMA did not specifically exclude it last year. So we had coverage in there. One school resource officer is going to cost us $727 for $1 million limit. The firearms endorsement remains on there, but as you can see on my special note, it's a scripted endorsement for the laws. It does not pertain to any security personnel or security guard. So if you actually hire security guards for a special event or something like that, the firearm exclusion is not going to pertain to them. What the issue you have are people who, Louisiana, you can conceal carry, with a permit. If you have a teacher on campus that has a firearm in their vehicle or in their purse, you're literally saying we're not covering that at all. If something happens, that's on that person. That's not on the school, and you don't want that coverage. It's on the individual doing that. So that's important, especially with the way because it happens a lot more in more school districts. They actually had a student who was just expelled, harmless. He was going duck hunting after school one day, and he had his gun in his car. They saw his school resource officer walk by his truck, saw it on the bed of his truck, and they expelled him right there on the spot. There's no tolerance on that. So, but this is where the security guards are covered. The school resource officers covered, and that's a $10,000 deductible instead of a $50,000 deductible. Just because I negotiated that down because we only have one school resource officer. The other page is crime. We don't have any coverage for that. Okay. So as you can see on page 7, we have our Liberty Mutual offer with the general liability, the commercial automobile, the school leaders, and the law enforcement. And our total is $206,701 compared to the $133. That's about a $73,000 difference from expiring. If you wanted to take some more considerations, you could reject the uninsured motorist coverage and save you $20,494 this year. We could remove the physical damage coverage that that Liberty quoted for the lease buses that we have, because we have a lease bus policy in effect somewhere else. We could remove that coverage for $1,092, or we could keep that on there and cancel the other lease bus policy we issued in September to cover those lease buses, and probably get a return premium of around $10,000 to $15,000. My recommendation is that. And then the terrorism coverage, you can reject or accept that. I'm gonna suggest you keep the terrorism coverage. It's for $480 for all lines of business. I'm gonna suggest you reject the uninsured motorist, and I'm gonna suggest you keep the physical damage coverage on Liberty Mutual and cancel the Houston Specialty policy we issued. We're past the minimum earned premium on that, so we will get some return premium. I know that's a lot, but it would get you back down to that $175,000 range in premium if you made these changes.
That's what we're on right now.
You're at 133 expiring.
Expiring at 133.
I don't know what LARMA was taking a small rate increase. If I had to guess what our renewal offer was going to be, it was probably going to be in that $145,000 range. If I had to guess.
So we
So
just
it is 30.
increasing the Liberty about 30. So
30 something.
yeah, that's not, okay.
But if I didn't get these numbers, we were probably looking at 275.
No.
That's what the other automobile markets and everything else. So that's why Liberty, this came into me Monday.
And how those rating agencies?
A-rated.
A-rated.
A-rated. As a matter of fact, Liberty is one of the largest insurers in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, do you need a motion?
Certainly.
Madam Chair, I motion that we accept the coverage offered tonight.
What about the additional options?
Which ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, if,
Oh,
if you want to reject the uninsured motorist coverage or retain the uninsured motorist coverage for $1 million limit,
Rejected.
reject it?
That's all, I mean,
Okay.
Do
If-
you suggest we would?
I do.
yeah.
Yeah,
do.
I mean.
You people look for school districts to be primary coverage when you have uninsured motorists instead of the people who are actually at fault. And you don't want to be the primary on that. If you had an issue where you didn't, if you had people you had to travel with, that came to school and traveled and had to ride around in a school-owned vehicle and it wasn't covered by workers' compensation on a regular basis, I'd say, yeah, maybe keep it for that. But for what you're doing, you're my last school district that carries it.
So we need to specify this motion, yes, when
Yes.
you make it. So I could-
I'm motion that we accept the policy with the exception of the uninsured motorists. And,
We're gonna, yeah. Now, on the rejection of uninsured motorists, we're also going to do a resolution to give Dr. Joseph authority to sign the form to reject the coverage. We've done that in the past too, for terrorism coverage.
So should we do these one by one? Let's do one by one with the motions for the insurance renewal.
Okay.
Looking at number one, reject the uninsured under motor bodily injury.
Okay.
Reject it. Can I get a motion to reject that?
okay, I have a motion to reject the uninsured bodily injury.
Okay, motion by Ms. Bell,
I second.
second by Ms. Joyce Porter. Any questions? Any questions? No questions should pass by general consent. Next one, remove physical damage cover from Liberty Mutual.
I suggest you retain that coverage.
Retain this coverage.
Yes.
I make the motion that we retain this coverage.
Motion by Ms. Joyce Porter to retain the physical damage coverage from Liberty Mutual. Second by Mr. George Hughes. Any questions? No question shall pass by general consent. Next one, rejection of the terrorism.
I suggest you retain that coverage.
Retain the coverage of the certified acts of terrorism. Can I get a motion to accept that? Motion by Mr. Al Travis, second by Ms. Joyce Porter, that we accept the certified acts of terrorism.
Okay.
Any questions? No questions shall pass by general consent.
And the last one is the Houston specialty either.
And the
you're
last,
and you're gonna I would suggest you cancel that coverage.
cancel the physical damage coverage only policy. And at the prorated,
Right.
Price.
Receive a prorated refund.
okay, to receive a prorated refund. Can I get a motion for that?
I motion, go ahead.
I second.
Motion by Ms. Virginia Bell to cancel the physical damage and receive the prorated
Cancellation.
cancellation, and second by Ms. Joyce Porter. Any questions? No questions shall pass by general consent.
And we
Don't we have to make a motion?
Yeah.
So
We need to make a resolution that allow Dr. Joseph to reject the coverage on behalf of the school board.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I'll make it.
Motion by Ms. Joyce Porter that Dr. Joseph has the authority to reject the cancellation from Houston Specialty,
No, from the uninsured motorists from Liberty Mutual.
from Liberty Mutual, uninsured motor from Liberty Mutual. Okay, motion by Ms. Joyce Porter, second by Mr. George Hughes. Any questions? No question? Shall pass by general consent.
That's it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Item 2, receive and approve revised policy, IDDF, education of students with exceptionalities.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Good evening. Tonight, I'm bringing forth a proposal to revise our district IDDF seclusion and restraint policy. This revision is required to ensure St. Helena Parish Schools remains in full compliance with the mandated updates to Bulletin 1706, which goes into effect December 1st, 2025. Recently, I had the opportunity to attend a statewide special education workshop hosted by Hammonds and Seals law firm, where the updates to the law were presented in detail. This training clarified the new requirements for school systems and reinforced the need for every district to revise its policies to align with December 1st mandates. I have included copies of the slides showing the changes indicated. Key areas where the policy must be updated include updated definitions for crisis intervention, imminent risk of harm, physical restraint, seclusion, sensory rooms, and mechanical restraint. Stricter limitations on the use of seclusion and restraint only when a learner poses an imminent risk of harm and only as a last resort. An expanded list of prohibited practices, including all mechanical restraints and any restraint that restricts breathing. Stronger monitoring and documentation requirements, including continuous supervision and documentation every 15 minutes. Same-day parent notification, followed by written notification within 24 hours. Requirements for IEP team review and revisions after repeated incidents. District obligations to post guidelines publicly, train all staff, and report all incidents to the Louisiana Department of Education. The proposal, I'm sorry. In closing, the purpose of this proposal is to request formal approval from the board to revise the current IDDF seclusion and restraint policy so that St. Helena Parish School is fully aligned with Bulletin 1706 by December 1st, 2025. Staff have clear updated procedures Staff have clear updated procedures reflective of state expectations. Parents receive transparent, timely communication. Definitely, most importantly, learner safety, dignity, and crisis response protocols meet the new standards. At this time, I respectfully request that the board receives and approve the proposal to update our IDDF seclusion and restraint policy in accordance with the December 1st, 2025 mandate. Thank you for your time, and I'm available to answer any questions that you may have.
Good evening, board. This is Randy. I think you all can see me on the Zoom. I've spoken to Dr. Joseph and Ms. Young. We're going to incorporate the changes that are required under state law as it relates to special education compliance measures under state law, and finalize that language that is going to be part of the St. Helena policy. And simply put, we were asking tonight for you all to approve those changes. And of course, the final version will be finalized prior to December 1st, 2025.
Can I get a motion? Motion by Ms. Joyce Porter to receive the changes according to Bulletin 1706.
Yes.
That will meet the state standards as of December 1st, 2025. Second by Mr. George Hughes. Any questions? No questions shall pass by general consent.
Thank you.
Thank you, board.
You're welcome. The next meeting date will be December 11th, 2025. Closing comment, board members?
I have something outside of the board members in my car that was donated by the LSU Southern University. LSU accent. So I have something for the board members in my car before you leave.
Okay. Any other comments? No comments? That last motion, this meeting is adjourned.